What's up, guys, and welcome back to Planet Coaster 2. If you're enjoying this series, make sure to leave a like on the video. It would be greatly appreciated. In the last episode, we had just finished up our Rasta slash Bumblebee themed raft flume over here, and honestly, at first I wasn't super crazy about the color scheme, but it has kind of grown on me. In addition to that, we also made some miscellaneous changes elsewhere. Our wave pool, for example, actually has decent size waves now, which looks so much better than it used to, and it was brought to my attention that there's another way for us to add multiple wave machines to a wave pool. So let me show you guys that real quick in case you have no idea what I'm talking about. You'll notice that advanced move and duplicate is grayed out for wave machines. You can't actually use that tool on this piece. However, there's a cheeky little way around this. All we have to do is place down any random scenery piece. It doesn't even have to have a grid. It could be whatever the heck you want. Now if we go to multi-select, select our wave machine and that random piece, confirm the selection, we can use advanced move and duplicate with the both of them. Kinda cool, right? It can be as high or as low as you want it. I'm not gonna mess around with that today. Like I said, I am much happier with how our wave pool is looking now. I just wanted to mention it in case you guys wanted to try something similar. The very last thing that we tried in the previous episode was to create a lazy river. And honestly, I'm surprised to see guests even trying it, because previously they didn't want anything to do with it. What was his name? Wyatt? We plopped Wyatt down over here, and kind of like a mouse in a maze, I was just hoping that he would kind of find his way back over to the main path, and he did not. He had no idea what was going on, and it looks like none of these guests really do either. That's the first pool noodle that I've seen, though. Very cool. Keep it up, champ. I want the lazy river to work so badly, but unfortunately, until there's a patch made, I just don't think it's gonna work properly. So for the time being, we're gonna delete the entire thing, and these guests are gonna be reset to the main entrance. So what I wanna work on today is more slides, because why the heck not? I don't want them to be slides that end in a pool, though. I definitely think we have plenty of pools already. So I want to do kind of something similar to our raft flume over here, where it has this runoff bit at the end. Okay, that's literally just because I deleted the whole path that they were standing on. They're fine. They're totally fine. Apart from the slides, though, I think it'd also be a good idea to start adding in some extra facilities to the park, right? We keep getting notifications about the guests being thirsty or the guests being hungry, so I think some additional food and drink facilities would be very beneficial for us. But if we take a look at our main entrance, it's a bit crowded. It's not so bad right now, but when a large group of guests arrives, it's impossible for them to climb the steps, to make their way up to the changing rooms, and those that are able to change into their swimsuits have a really difficult time fighting the crowds just trying to get back down to the dang pools. So what I would like to do is add just a smaller building somewhere over in this vicinity, and then I'm thinking we put our slides somewhere over here. I'd also like the slides to kind of crisscross a little bit, sort of like a dueling coaster, even though I haven't had a very good success rate with those in the past. Why did I just turn into Mike Tyson? Dude, classic Mike Tyson moment. In the past. Jesus, maybe I just need a drink. What I want to start working on first today, kind of just to get warmed up, is I want to add an actual bar top to our tiki bar, because currently we don't have one. If someone were to try to put their drink down right here, that's going straight into the dang pool. Straight into the abyss. So all I'm going to do is borrow a couple of these little shelves here, and we'll see if we can't make this look a little bit nicer. Oh yeah, dude. That's what I'm talking about right there. Just that little bit of extra decoration to help take this building up a notch. I love it. I wish we had like little drinks like this, though, that we could sort of place around the bar top, but we can only ask for so much. So what I want to start working on now is that little building we were talking about before, with the food and bathrooms and changing rooms and a whole bunch of different facilities all in one building. But I want to try to show my building process a little bit more than I usually do, and maybe that'll help some of you guys in your own parks. Typically, I do like to start with the facilities, if it's going to be a building that houses some type of facility. So I know we want a Chief Beef. I know that for sure, because we already have a Pizza Pen, and we can't have a park without the OG right here. So that's going to go smack dab there in the center. And then round the outside, well, we probably want a staff resting facility though, right? Because if we have a vendor out here, we can't expect them to walk all the way back to the main entrance just to take a load off. So let's actually slap one of these down on the back side, still in the center. And then something that I try to keep in mind as I'm building is I don't ever want a building to be 3 wide, just for the sake of making a roof easy. Because if you do have a 3 wide, for example, like our main entrance, you're gonna have to get a little bit more creative with your roof construction. Like down the center bit here, I just added a different roof piece entirely. It works, it's not ideal. And we shouldn't have any issues putting a toilet on the other side, but I'm gonna change our grid size here so we can put it in the center between these other 2 facilities. And on the opposite end, we'll do a nice little changing room. And just like that, we're basically done. We will need power out here though. And it's been mentioned a lot that we don't have to have stuff like our water filters, and I think these as well. Generators we do have to have accessible, and pumps we have to have accessible to mechanics. But stuff like this, you could just hide it under the terrain. But I think I'm going to keep doing what we've been doing and just sort of hide it in some scenery or in a building or something like that. I'm sure the realism fans are really going to appreciate that, me not hiding everything underneath the ground, right? So I'm going to try to squeeze... Maybe we'll do a filter and a transformer just round the back, just in this little area here and the one just behind the bathroom. I know a few of you have mentioned these facilities maybe having a negative impact on our guests, but if we look through the heat maps, I haven't seen anything in here that would suggest that. So maybe it's purely speculation. Even the scenery score, I mean, it's poor over here just because the building doesn't have any decoration around it, right? We have the same facilities in here, and there's no red whatsoever. While this new building will most definitely need some sort of power, we've already got that covered with our transformer there, or distributor. I keep referring to them as Optimus Prime, or Bumblebee, or any of the other Transformers, right? We probably don't need a water filter. However, for future proofing, I'm gonna keep it. If nothing else, that'll give us a good spot to where we can tie in another filter later on down the line. But let's move into walls now. So we're just gonna go with the same bamboo walls that we've been using, trying to stick to that same resort theme. We will have to get a little creative with our wall on this side, but I'm not super concerned about that. As we've learned, the devs have given us so many more different wall pieces that we just didn't have before, plain and simple. We will need a couple doorways, at least one back here. That looks pretty solid, just for our staff resting facility. And then we need this for the shop fronts. But yeah, on the sides over here, I think what I'm gonna do... Well, could we use this? We could. But then it's gonna cover up... Oh, actually, having that just kind of clip through the wall there doesn't look that bad. But the distributor, not transformer, doesn't really look as good on this side. So maybe we won't do that. Let's go with those custom pieces instead. But I think we're gonna have to add additional walls up in here. That way this doorway is kind of covered. Or wait, it would be anyways, wouldn't it? If we just have that arch piece in the front? Yeah, we're good. We're chilling. To make sure that our gridless wall here is the same height as our other walls, I like to try to snap it to an existing one that actually uses a grid, and then we can just kind of fine-tune it with the advanced move tool from there. So somewhere around this area. Oh, the AC/DC kills me with this stuff. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Oh wait, it's kind of clipping through this wall, so we're actually going to want to bring it out just a little bit until that texture appears. Right there's gonna have to do. Moving on to just above the transformer, I think the one that we want is the 2-meter half width. So let's place that one there. Let's delete the wall that we've snapped it to. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Otherwise, we could go a little bit smaller and use one like this, maybe? Let me see where that one lines up at. No, see, that's too high. Yeah, I like that quite a bit more. You know, maybe we will add another wall on the inside there. I wonder if a door... Let me see if a door would line up with that. I mean, just about. This is only one type of door. We have a couple of different ones that we could choose from. Oh, this would probably be better because it has the trim around it as well. Let's go with that instead. Yeah, that's gonna be just about perfect, I think. On the filter side, though, we're gonna have to do things a little bit differently because it kind of hangs out a little bit further than the distributor does. But rather than having to like manually slide the gridless walls into position again, I'm gonna duplicate a wall that uses a grid. We're gonna select that guy, rotate it around, and then just plop it down over here. And now we can do the exact same thing with this other one. We duplicate it. Beautiful. It's too easy. It's too easy. But yeah, this, I don't know what we're gonna do with that. We could just leave it open, right? I mean, that's what we did over here underneath our triple slide. We could just do a similar little design, little pattern on the wall. Shouldn't be too bad. I'm liking what we have so far, but I think we should move on to the roof next. And I'm hesitant to show all the like little details and things because it's very tedious work. I'm not so sure that I really have too many tips and tricks for you guys on that side of things, but I'll show a little bit, right? I'll show whatever I can. I do want to try to use a different roof style out here though. We've used the thatch roof on literally every building thus far. So if we could kind of change it up a little bit, I don't think that would be a bad thing. We do need a little bit of an overhang on this though, so it doesn't look super weird. That's a hot tip actually. If the roof that you've chose to use has an overhang, use it, because it does so much for the overall building. And then we just need a little bit. Oh, is that a 2 meter? Yes, perfect. A little bit right in there to kind of fill in the gaps. I do still want to use a little bit of thatch roof over here though. Not too much, nothing crazy. Just a little some, you know what I'm saying? But I want the rounded one. Here we go. I'm not 100% sure that these two roof styles are going to look great together. That's not terrible. It's not as bad as I was expecting. Maybe we need something else up there too though. Let's try this. Up in the center, maybe? I don't know how to feel about that. I do not know how to feel about that. It's a little too weird. Yeah, it's a little too weird. What about something a little bit more simpler, like that? And then we can add another little eave to it. Is that the same one? I don't think it is. There we go. That looks a little bit better. Not bad. Not bad. I think it could work if we have some like additional supports around the front there. I wanted it to be round though instead of square. Let me do the same thing to the back of the building, and we'll see what we think about that. It could work. It could work. Hang on. A little bit of extra something up there too. On either end. I don't hate it. I'm looking for the ridge cap for this roof so we can kind of fill in that weird gap there. Here we go. And usually these aren't gonna line up where you want them to, like, at all. So just kind of get it as close as you can. And then what we're gonna do now is select the both of those and split them from the building. Easy as that. Now we can kind of slide them in where we actually want them to sit at. So right about there, and then we'll bring them down to right about there. Seems pretty good. We're probably gonna want something else to fill this area with too. So let me edit our original building now. This is technically, just the ridge cap is technically a separate building, but there should be another little bamboo piece that we can put in here. Let's change our grid a little bit more. Slide her on up. And then, whoops, once again, those aren't gonna go where you want them either. So just place them however you'd like. Get them as close as you can. We're gonna split that one from the building. And then we're gonna split this one from the building as well. Now we can use the advanced move tool and just kind of slide this in so it looks like this roof has more of an overhang than it really does. And because AC/DC, I've got to try to get it to line up right on the crack of that roof. That looks pretty good to me. We'll just have to do the same thing now to the opposite side. You know what? I'm not really loving the front of this thing now. I think we should go with a similar steepness. So I'm gonna try these instead. Yeah, that might look a little bit nicer, and then we can kind of have an additional peak go through the center of the building. So let me put these down over here, and then we're gonna want these rotated around like so. That's way better. That is way better. We're still gonna like lower it down and add that flat roof on the underside, but I'm much happier with the way that looks. If we wanted to get real crazy with it, we could also add some more of these little dormers to the front and the back. We're still gonna have to add our custom ridge cap and wall on the inside there. It's a little different, you know, but that's also kind of a good thing. Sometimes I feel like I get so locked into just making all my buildings look exactly the same. So having a bit of differentiation, even if it is just a roof so far, I think that can kind of go a long way. So all we really need now are some columns. And rather than going with the square ones, since we have a lot of those elsewhere, I'm gonna go with the round boys for this instead. I'm sure I've showed this hundreds of times by now, but in case some of y'all weren't paying attention till now, if you grab a wall that utilizes a grid and then a piece that doesn't utilize a grid, like these columns, you can just duplicate them and place them around wherever you need them. Yeah, you'll have a duplicate wall, but you just delete it and you're on your way. Now that we have all of our columns placed down where we want them, it's time to start the very tedious process of adding all the different, you know, little bits and bobs everywhere, like our shop fascia, maybe some windows around here so it doesn't look so plain, and then of course that same sort of like tiki bar trim stuff that we've been using elsewhere. Okay, hang on a second. I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I just learned something, and I feel like it would be a crime not to pass it on to you guys. So we already have a pillar or a column placed here, but what I just learned is if we grab another one, but a different variety, it'll snap to the same location that our existing pillar is in. Even if we kept it or delete it, I think it's kind of nice, right? It makes it so much easier to swap things out for something else. Okay, I think that's probably all the work I want to put into this building for today. I've been at this for an hour and a half now, just placing these smaller, finer details. But this building came out great. I'm very, very happy with it. The only thing I think it's missing now is just a little Chief Beef signage up there in the middle. Apart from that, it's perfect. Watch there not even be a Chief Beef sign that fits up in that little area. Oh, hang on, this one might work. That's not terrible. We'll place it right there and then just kind of drag it on up a little bit so it's not clipping through our shop fascia. I like it. I am worried though, because my plan with this building is to basically duplicate it and drop it down somewhere over in this vicinity, but then change the Chief Beef to a drink vendor, right? I'm hoping that we'll have good luck on that sign as well, but I don't even know what I want to put over there yet. We're gonna get this moved out of the way for now, and I'm gonna start trying to make some type of plaza. I'm tempted to maybe make this area back here like a food court of sorts, right? Because the only picnic tables we have are just these four around the back of the front entrance.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
Those of you who have been watching the channel like since its inception will probably understand how big of a deal this is for me. A curved path? Crazy. Historically, everything has to be very square, very precise, and I'm just kind of letting it all hang out today. Not a care in the world. Let's get this Chief Beef opened up though so we can start serving a couple of these guests. And now that we have that done, actually real quick, okay, bargain pricing, that's all good there. We gotta get some picnic tables, and lots of them. I wanna fill this whole area with picnic tables, and then probably back here as well. I mean, seriously, dude. Who am I today? I feel like a completely different person. These aren't even equally spaced, and it doesn't bother me. Usually I would have a panic attack seeing something like this, but feeling pretty good. So let's go through and add a couple of umbrellas to these. Actually, we've already got some over here, so I'm just gonna copy that. And it should just kind of snap into position. Easy. I wonder if there are any good resort-themed scenery pieces. Yeah, like stuff like this. Things that we could kind of just put in the center over here so it doesn't look so empty. That's probably a little bit too small. What about this guy? A little big for that space. Might work a little bit better over here. Yeah, I'm thinking somewhere around there. That looks nice. That looks really nice. Oh wait, since we placed it on top of a path though, the guests are gonna be able to walk right through this thing. What even is this? Does it have like a waterfall or something? It's got some ambiance, some sound over here. Yeah, I don't see any like water jets or anything happening. Still a cool piece though. I really like the way that looks. Let's go back to our path tool really quick, and I'm gonna see if I can't just draw sort of a border around this. It's not perfect, and it was a little tedious, but I think now if we just come in here and start deleting it, there we go, dude. Easy as that. All right, I'm into it. So yeah, let's do something similar over here, but probably a little bit smaller scenery piece, and then we'll duplicate this building, do a similar thing somewhere over here. We should probably start working on those slides too. Those are gonna take quite a bit of time. I kind of had to add just a little bit of railing around the perimeter just to church it up a little bit. But now that we have that done, all we need to do now is just kind of slide this sucker on over, get it recentered a little bit more. Maybe drag it up just a tad too. That looks pretty good. Oh no, my path. I worked so hard on that, man. Okay. God, dude, I'm getting distracted. The hard part is now over, so we can move on to the easy part. It's still gonna take quite a bit of time here, but all we really have to do is just grab this whole building. And something that I forgot to do was kind of delete the paths inside of this facility so that guests won't walk straight through it. You know, we can't have a bunch of ghosts roaming around our theme park. So with just that selected, we're gonna confirm it, duplicate it, probably pause so, you know, people don't get the wrong idea. And we're just gonna slide it on over to this side of the park. Now we can delete our Chief Beef sign. Won't be needing that anymore. Or the Chief Beef itself. We just have to replace that with something. Obviously a drink shop. That was kind of the whole idea. We already have a Soda Lightful, so maybe we go with something else. How about a Pip Shot Juice? With any luck, that'll have a sign that'll actually fit up there as well. Let's try this one. Oh, perfect, dude. Absolutely perfect. And then if we hit play, let's open her on up. Oh, yeah, we can't because there's kind of no path. So let's do that first. It's probably going to be a little bit easier to add a railing all the way around this thing prior to adding a bunch of picnic tables and umbrellas that are most likely just going to get in our way. Missed a little spot over here and right there. Beautiful. All right, the deed is done. I also took a few minutes to get the power connected, get the water filter connected, and we were able to delete the old generator that used to, or not generator, not transformer. What are those called? Distributor. we were able to delete the old one of those that used to send power to our little floaty shop there in the middle. But now that this is just barely close enough, look at the heat map here for power. Just barely has enough coverage, but it's gonna work, so I'm happy about that. I hate to say it though, guys, I don't know that we're gonna have enough time to like fully finish our slides today. We'll get them, you know, as good as we can get, but I've already been at this for almost 4 hours. So, wait, why are guests desperate? What is problem? What is problem? It doesn't even show. It just, oh, they're thirsty and hungry. Well, it's a good thing we're adding more food and drink shops for them, isn't it? Looks like these people have figured out where the spot is. Still got quite the line at Pizza Pen, and a pretty good size line at So Delightful as well.
A few moments later.
Ladies and gents, the deed is done. Though we are definitely not finished with either one of these areas, I'd like to take our scenery brush tool and add a bit of foliage just behind the railing to each plaza. We don't have any trash cans out here. We're definitely going to want a couple of those. We'll probably need to hire some more janitors as well, and then rework like our whole work zone, right? Currently we have one work zone that kind of encompasses the entire park, but we might just need to add a work zone over this and a work zone over that side. However, we are very quickly running out of time in the day, so let's try to make some slides. For these ones, I think I want to do a double inner tube flume and then a single inner tube flume as well. And like I said earlier, we'll kind of try to make them crisscross. Even if they only cross each other one time, that'll be good enough for me. We've got this thing raised up all the way to the dang moon, dude. So we've got doubles on the left and singles on the right. I'm just gonna try to drop this thing down very gradually, and we'll see if we can't get them to cross each other. We're gonna have to do the one side first and then try to mirror it on the opposite side.
What follows is a brief construction montage. We hope you enjoyed this brief construction montage.
Okay, before you say anything, I haven't the slightest clue what it is that I'm doing, and I feel so rushed right now. I think if I went into this with an actual idea, more than just, oh, they need to cross at some point, I think our end result would look quite a bit better. But just for the sake of things, let's test them both out, and we'll see how they perform. Pretty slow through there. This is the fast bit, though, down the back. Yeah, that's more like it. That is more like it, dude. They're going 600 miles an hour. Sorry, Aussies. I promise to never do that again. It works. What's our prestige? 552 for the double and 715 for the single? I mean, they're pretty much the same thing. Anyways, I'm gonna sleep on it, and hopefully I can come up with something that actually looks good and performs well. But on that note, I do think that's where we're gonna have to wind things down at for today. So once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.